Hi everyone, it is Thursday, October 5th, 2016, and this is episode 90 of Serenova Crafts. I'm your host, Jessica. I can be found as Serenova on Ravelry and Twitter, and as Serenova Crafts on Instagram. You can find the show notes for today's episode on my blog or in the Ravelry group, links down below if you're watching on YouTube. And likes, subscribes, comments are always appreciated. I have a guest host today. This is Joyce, and you go by Linen Lady 9 on Ravelry.
Yes.
And I thought it would be fun to bring a special guest on. So if you want to say a few words about yourself, go right ahead.
Well, let's see. I have been a knitter for a long time. I learned when I was about 10 or 11 years old, but then set it aside for a while and relearned and then relearned again. And I have a small shop's worth of yarn in my attic. And I love to knit. I love the fiber arts. Actually, cross-stitching was my first fiber arts love, and I brought some of that to show today too. And let's see. Sometimes it's hard for me to remember that there's a whole generation separating us because we're friends, knitting friends. But my daughter is also your friend,
right?
And you went to school with one of my kids, and so anyway, I just think it's just cool to have multi-generational friendships.
Yeah, it certainly is interesting how that all works out.
Yeah.
So we can get right into it. We can kind of alternate projects if you want. Do you want to start, or do you want me to go and see how?
Yeah,
how about I go?
Start? Yeah.
All right. So the first whip I have is, because neither of us have any finished objects, is a hat I am working on. And here it is. You can see the cabling here. And it is a sample for a yarn company that is going to have a booth at Rhinebeck, and this is the sample they sent me to match the size. This is the finished object. I had a little trouble with it because I read the chart wrong, and that's totally my fault and not the pattern's fault, but I read the chart wrong, so I had to pull it out and try again. But I am cruising along with it now, and hopefully this will be done next time I record, which should be right before I go to Rhinebeck. So I should have this and another hat done that I haven't even started yet.
That
for
is
them.
So beautiful, and I love how you can really
feel it. It's cashmere.
That's gorgeous. I love how you can see the cabling really well with the color.
The yarn is from Springtide Farm. They're in Bremen, Maine, and they are a cashmere farm, and they are about 3 hours from here in Maine. And I have done samples for them before. I made a bunch of scarves last year for them. And it's just so nice to work with. Their cashmere is so nice.
Pet it.
I know, you can just just pet it. So, would you like to show something now?
Yeah. One of the things that, actually, I was at a knitting group yesterday, and I was thinking about all the knitted projects that I have.
We were out of focus.
Oh, okay.
Keep going, it's fine.
Thinking about all the knitted projects that I have, and I happened to mention that I have a summer bag that's not yet finished. And I have a summer shawl that I worked on that's not yet finished, and a pair of summer socks that are not yet finished. Well, now it's autumn, and I don't want to work with pastels so much now. And the things that I'm making are mostly for summer use. So what should I do? Should I finish them or add them to my stash of things on needles that aren't finished? Anyway, our friend Sandy suggested that I pick one that's closest to being finished and work on that to finish it, but then maybe start something new that is, anyway, to just get me excited about knitting. Of course, I also have like 47 other projects on needles, which might actually not be an exaggeration, sadly, but I could pull out one of those. But anyway, the first one that I have is this Medano beach bag, and I have the pattern, well, that's a black and white pattern you can't really see, but anyway, it's the bag.
Whoops. Oh, runaway stitch marker.
Oh, no.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. I love the colors of it, and
yeah,
I've been just knitting on it forever, and it's been one of those that you just knit and knit and knit, and I have practiced working with, you can see it here where the, but to have a jogless join, you can kind of see the seam, but at least the stripes are even.
Yeah,
they're even stripes.
You know, if somebody just goes, oh, it's a nice little detail on the bag.
Yeah, that's true. And I've been toying with the idea of whether or not to line it when I'm done, but it's supposedly huge when you're finished, and it's a beach bag.
It looks like it would you know, stretch out
Yeah.
a bit, especially, you know, over time. So,
And I'm almost to the point of doing the handles, and then there are handles on it that tie, and so that's a shoulder bag. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, well, it will stretch, so it's like for putting, I don't know, a beach towel in, and your sunscreen and your
cover up or
Yeah,
sandals or whatever.
and
Yeah.
of course a knitting project to work on at the
Of
beach.
course.
And maybe a book that I read. So anyway, that's my first project in progress, and I think this will be the one that I'll finish. And it's one that I've worked on when I'm watching television, because it's just knitting round and round and round.
Right.
It's not a lot of concentration.
Fairly mindless.
Yes.
So I was bad this week, and I have not worked on my Rhinebeck sweater at all, mainly because started a new job this week, and things were crazy, and we had Rosh Hashanah earlier this week, so my knitting time has been seriously cut into the past week between the last time I recorded and now, simply because stuff has just happened. It's one of those crazy life things. I'm determined to get my Rhinebeck sweater done. And if I have to stay up late a couple of nights to do it, I will. And if I'm seaming it the Friday night before the festival, well, say with me.
So you'll wear it to Rhinebeck?
Or, well, I'll wear it on Saturday.
Yes.
If it's finished when I get there Friday night or not, we'll see.
Okay.
But I will be wearing it on Saturday at the festival.
So it might get...
Whether I stay up until midnight Friday night or not.
Okay.
So, but the main other project I've been working on, because it's fairly mindless,
So
is my Trillion. So it's getting big. You can see the color where the two skeins, when I change skeins, you can see, because there's a line. You can see it. It shows up more on camera, actually.
Okay.
The line.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So that's skein 2. But you know what? It's not bothering me. I'm not going to nitpick over it. I'm
Yeah.
not going to rip out 4 inches just to strike the yarn.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bother with that. But it's slowed down now that the rows are getting really long. I mean, this is a 40-inch needle, so
Wow.
you can guess how long the row is getting on a 40-inch needle. So
That's beautiful.
it's good, yeah. So I haven't put too much on since last week because I had the marker in. But
Is the border, the little pattern border at all? Oh, is that what?
it's eyelets, yeah.
Okay.
So when I block, so I'm going to have to block it to pin out the eyelets
Okay.
so that it actually...
And is that the first row, or does that go on as? Oh, that's going on as you knit it.
Right, yeah. So it happens as you knit,
Mhm.
and then at the end, because she says knit until you have 14% of your yarn left, something like that, and then you do an eyelet edge on this edge. So it'll have 2 edges with the eyelet rows, and 1 smooth edge, which will be the top of the shawl.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's similar to this. If I can open the bag here. In that you knit the one edges, you put it on. This is summer. What's it called? Okay. I had it. Summer camp or something. Yeah, summer camp. And it's a pattern by.
there we go. Now everyone can see. There we go.
Laura Ayler. Yeah. A pattern by Laura Ayler, and it's the same kind of a thing where you knit it, you knit these points along, and then at the edge, I was looking at it as I was doing it, because this is where you change the colors, and some of them are pretty big loops, and thinking, I'm not sure how that's going to be, then remembering, oh yeah, it's probably, that's where I think the edge is, I think. Anyway.
I like the color combo.
Yeah.
It'll be pretty when it's done, no matter where the edge ends up.
Well, I had visions of wearing it through the summer, you know, when you go into an air-conditioned place. But maybe for next summer.
Yeah, if you finish it over the winter.
That's true.
And the colors will cheer you up in, like, January when it's cold and dreary and gray.
And it's another mindless one now that I've finally gotten into it. It's a fairly mindless project, so that it's a good one to watch, or to watch television with, or to bring to knitting group and talk. So, anyway, I do cut the yarn in between, but I haven't cut, because I always think, well, what if I make a mistake and have to take that color out? But I think I can cut that one now. So I'm only,
yeah, I've gone far enough into the next one.
Yep. So that's my second project.
And I like the fabric on that bag. It's really cute.
Oh, thank you.
All the little sheep with all the things.
They're holding knitting.
Yeah, let's flip it that way so the sheep are right side up. I think that's really cute fabric.
Yeah. Thanks. It's fun. It was one from a yarn club years ago that I belonged to where you'd get a bag and a skein of yarn and a pattern
Oh, that's cool.
every
Yeah.
couple of months or something like that. So I've really enjoyed that.
It's a really neat kind of bag. All right.
Yeah.
So if you have another thing you want to talk about, you can go again.
Yep, I have. Well, I have also, and now if I brought everything, we would be here all day long.
Yeah.
And into tomorrow. So I brought 3 knitting projects in progress and 3 cross stitch projects in progress. This one is a pair of socks. It's
Got that cotton stuff?
yes, and it's vanilla latte socks. That's the pattern, and I just turned the heel on the first pair. I love the colors. I'm having to do it. I generally knit socks on a size 1.5 needle, but this is a size 0 because it's cotton, and I found that it gets really stretchy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have memory. So
Right. So once it stretches out, it stays that way.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been enjoying doing that. Although I was knitting and having fits about it's a heel. I have partridge heel flap, and kept making mistakes on which row I'm on, and then taking them out, and then I knitting, and then I counted wrong and realized, oh, I didn't do 32 rows the way it said. I did 64.
Oops.
This is a huge long. So then I had to take it all back, and I had even done the heel turn. But
Oh, no.
I'm ready to pick up and do the.
Oh, that's good. At least you finally got it right.
Yes, finally did. So that's my third one. These are the summer projects that I've had in my bag, and I need to finish them. Or set them aside and start something else.
Right.
So that's what I have for today.
Do you want to talk about one of your cross stitch projects, and then I'll show some stash I got?
I would love to. Okay, the one that I pulled out recently, I had been to visit a friend of mine, and she had this one finished in her bathroom, and I took a picture of it because I thought, oh, that's so cute. I've had this one in progress. I like to do seasonal knitting so that in the autumn it's so fun, knitting and cross stitch. In the autumn, it's so fun to do pumpkins. And
I'm just going to hold up the picture so that people can see
so
what the finished product will look like.
So I've had this going because what happens is that I get all excited and work on it for a while, and then comes the next holiday, or you want to do different things. So I think, oh well, I'll work on it next year. And this has been years in progress. So
yeah, I have one cross stitch that I started it in 2011, something like that. Yeah, it's taking me forever because I pick it up, I put it down, I pick it up, I put it down.
So I'm thinking, anyway, I took a picture of her finished one where she actually left off the border, and you can see the, whoops, there we go.
Yeah, it's a little shiny, but it's okay.
Yeah, there's a border all around. She had left the border off, and she put on different buttons and added some beads and changed a few of the colors, and I thought her things were really good. So I'm making some of those adjustments. So anyway, that's been fun, and I spent several hours over the past weekend working on it, and hopefully I will actually even finish it this year, maybe. We'll see.
All right, so as some of the people who watch know, I occasionally work for Kate, who runs 100 Ravens, based out of Brookline, New Hampshire. Go check out her yarn. It's great. I've been winding minis for her for a while because I'm really fast at it, and she likes that because I can do a set in about 45 minutes, and it takes other people about twice as long. So as a thank you the other day, when I was there last week, she was cleaning out some of her personal stash, not like business stash, because she sells that, but her own personal yarn stash. And she asked me if I wanted everything, and I basically went, yes, please. So
Awesome.
I have a bag. The label on the bag has nothing to do with the yarn that's in the bag. So some of them are scraps, leftover stuff, but these both are the same base. This is her base. This is her Lear base, which is wool and a little bit of silk. It's a 2-ply, I think. And this one is like a pink to a gray gradient back to pink. And then this is just the undyed base. And I thought maybe I could stripe the two together to make a really interesting shawl, because there's probably about 500 or 600 yards here. So I thought these two together would make a really interesting shawl. And then this is just some of her fingering weight Iacos. And I have to hold it really close to get the color, see? It's like oranges and pinks and stuff. And there's probably not quite a full skein here. I'd guess 350 or so yards, because they're 400-yard skeins. But this would make a really cool scarf or a shawlette or something. Probably with not too much detail because of the color, but Just fun stuff planned. And then she had a bag of scraps that are all the same weight, so I figure some kind of scrappy project would be good. These are all her DK weight, so a DK weight scrap project is going to be in the works for this. And I have a couple more things, but you can talk about another of your cross stitches.
Okay. This other one
First.
Let's see. This one. I keep wanting to pet your yarn here. So this is another one that's been in progress for a while. And every year I go to a cross-stitch festival that's in Nashua.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, here's the pattern. And I had seen this made up by a friend. And I almost, you can see that I have probably, you know, like, I don't know, an evening, less than an evening. It's just this little bit. Right. That's it. And I'll have to look to see if there are any, like I put on my initials and such in the year. So anyway, it's almost finished.
Yeah.
And I think the
looking good.
Colors are great. It's
be nice and cheerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
To have.
Yeah. Now I need a bigger house to put all of the things on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of running out of wall space in here too. I took down the poster that normally hangs here because the lamp was reflecting off of it and I was getting a glare, but there's normally a poster right here. And then wall of swords, more posters, paintings, you know, we have stuff on every wall in this apartment. We are going to need like the biggest house just to hang everything we want to hang. So besides the scraps, Kate had a full, had some full skeins of stuff available. So there's this beauty, which I have no clue what it is. I have no clue who dyed it, what the fiber content is, though I'm guessing from the feel it's a wool, because it doesn't feel like cotton or linen, so I'm guessing it's a wool. Probably not merino, probably just a regular wool, but the colors are really cool, and it's a fingering weight, approximately. So I'll figure out something to do with it, but it's... I have no idea who dyed it, no idea where it's from, because the only thing Kate could remember was, I don't get along with that dyer anymore. Don't know who that is. So, mystery skein of bright colorfulness, and it's a little duller on screen than it is in person. This is bright. This is really bright, but it'll be fun to knit up. And then there was two other full skeins, and now I can put the bag down. So one is some Molly Girl Rockstar, which is a worsted weight, and it's 215 yards. There you go, Molly Girl Rockstar. Colorway pillows. And I'm figuring this could become probably a hat, because it's a worsted weight skein, so a single skein of worsted weight hat. Works in my brain. So that's what I'm going to do. It's 100% superwash merino. It's mollygirlyarn.com. I don't know if she's still in business, still dying. I got no clue. But it's a pretty color. It's a bluish purple. It's looking more blue on screen. It's more purple in person. The color's somewhere in the middle. And then lastly, a skein of Kate's Acer in the NK Jefferson, New Hampshire 2015 colorway. This is her Acer is technically a DK weight. It says sport on the label. I'm probably guessing that was a typo. Her Acer is a DK, and I could probably make some mitts or something out of this. I'll have to decide what to do with it. But this is a full skein of really nice brown and blues.
That's really pretty. That's beautiful.
Do you have one more project?
One more project.
All right, and then I have one more thing, and that should be it.
Okay. This one is a continuing.
Whoops. Got everything?
Yeah. Continuing project. You can do them individually. This is the first one that I'm working on, and it's there are 12 in the series. Let's see, there we go. That's how much I have finished of it. It's on linen, 36 count linen actually, and the second one is this, and on the back you can see that you put them together, and there will be 12. It's a garden club series, and it makes a wall hanging, but I was really intrigued with the idea of having different fabrics, not just having, I have some times where you can get a series of them that you buy a big piece of fabric and then stitch them all
in the same
and that's
piece,
beautiful too. I have some of those, but I was really intrigued with the idea of different fabrics sewn together. So
that would be
it's
really
a challenge.
neat.
Yeah. So I was thinking I could encourage myself to stitch faster and better and get the next couple in the series. So anyway, that's what I have.
All right, and I have one last bit of stash. This is going to be my, this is my Hello Yarn Fiber Club shipment. So if you don't want spoilers for September, though if you're in the club, you probably have gotten it by now because this came yesterday. So most people should be getting it. And this is the Fiber Club for September 2016, and it is Sinister Things. Is the colorway. Sinister Things. So it's got some maroons and purples and blues and pinks, and it's a color, and it's a riot of color. This is merino wool top, 4 ounces. This color's pretty good, actually. But yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see how this spins up.
That's really pretty.
So
that's beautiful.
That's it for me. I haven't worked on much, and but I got a fair amount of stash, despite most of it being given to me. But that's basically it for content. But we can talk about something, or if you have any questions, or want to say something, or
I'm going to an event with my oldest daughter. We're going on Saturday to the New Hampshire Wool Arts Tour.
Oh, that should be fun.
Yeah, and we're at several different venues, and they have animals. We've been to one where they have alpaca, and that you can actually pet them if they get close enough, and you can buy the yarn from the particular.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
place. And they have things to eat, and the different vendors around, and it's all outdoors, and it's a fun thing. Kind of a low-key. I've never been to Rhinebeck. That sounds amazing. But it sounds huge, too.
It is. It's huge, and it's really overwhelming. And last year, doing it as a day trip was probably not the best idea, and I'm very glad I get to stay for the weekend this time so that I'm not so overwhelmed. But I am also going to the Topsfield Fair this weekend. My mom and I are going on Sunday, because that's the day I'm not working. But yeah, so we're going to Topsfield Fair. We've been going. I've never missed a year my whole life. She has missed like 3 times in her whole life. So it's a bit of a family tradition that we go. And it'll be really good. And it's the oldest continuously running agricultural fair in the United States.
That sounds amazing.
They started in 1819, I believe, was the year they were founded. So they've been going strong for almost 200 years now. So they're really fun. We don't do the midway or the rides or anything. We go and we look at the vegetables and the flowers, and we go look at the bunnies and the chickens, and we enjoy it for the agricultural part of it. Because if I want, carnival rides, there's theme parks around. I could just go to Canopy Lake Park or Six Flags New England. I don't necessarily have to ride like sketchy midway rides from some traveling carnival. It's just nice to just walk around, and we go and we usually watch, they usually have an 8-horse hitch, which is like the traditional way they moved cargo before like trucks. This was like the horse and buggy version of like a big 18-wheeler. Wow. So it's 8 horses all hitched up to this big wagon that they pull to deliver goods and stuff, and they show you how they used to park it and move it and they do all these tricks and everything, and it's really cool to watch. And then, like, nowadays, they're just tricks to show off, but back in the day, these were like essential skills for like backing the wagon up to the loading dock to offload the goods. So it's always really interesting to go. And then next weekend, I'm going to be at Rhinebeck. Next week, I will also be recording on Thursday instead of Wednesday, because Wednesday is Yom Kippur, and I'm going to be in synagogue all day because it is a fast day and basically our holiest day on the calendar. So I'm not going to record a podcast on it. I'm going to record the next day. And then Friday, I will leave for Rhinebeck. So my friend Jen, who is the host of the Uncreative Crafter podcast, she is coming down here to Nashua because she lives farther north in New Hampshire, and we are driving together out to New York, and we are going to make a pit stop at Webb's along the way because Northampton is between here and there, so we might as well stop. So I will be hosting my VKN tonight like normal. There will be a VKN next week, and everyone is welcome to come and join. So I don't know the next time Joyce will be back, but she might be a reoccurring guest on a I don't know how often basis.
Yeah, depends on
we'll figure it out as we go, but I thought it would be nice to have someone on for once
to
join me.
Much. Thank you.
It was good having you. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good week. Bye!
Bye.